Hey, how's it going, guys? It's the Jekyling back for the third video of today. Today's video is going to be on the new support Wonderland Alice that just came out. So, I've had my dinner, I've watched my episode of Mushoku Tensei, and so now I'm ready to sit down and actually talk about this Alice, kind of showcase what she can do, an overview of her skills and her cross skills. And kind of where you want to put her, what use she'd have, and yeah. So first of all, I'll just start off with her skill. It's a pretty good skill. So basically, she gets 3 stacks every turn, up to a maximum of 20 stacks. And when she casts a skill, which is a climax skill, so it's an ultimate. Basically, you can only use it once. And it does 162%. I think it's arcane damage, right? So it's arcane damage. This is when it's fully maxed out. And the wording is kind of weird in this description. But I'm fairly sure that per Rainmaker's seal and every climax point that this spends, which the skill does spend all your climax skill points, so do keep that in mind. It has a chance of increasing the skill damage by 63% in addition. So I was doing a few tests earlier in Void Expedition, and I had it at like 30 climax points. She had 18 stacks, and it didn't do a lot of damage. I think it did like 51,000, which is really, really underwhelming. Really disappointing. So maybe it is a chance thing and I just got quite unlucky, I'm not sure. But and the last final thing of her skill is that if she has 10 or more stacks of Rainmaker's Seal, she gains crit chance. And her cross skill is basically a AoE with Dual Blade Kirito. So in the description that I read and that I showcased, read through a couple of videos ago, it was saying that it was Kirito main, and it didn't actually specify if it was Dual Blade Kirito or the Kirito main, so I assumed it was the Kirito main, the non-limited version. But in actual fact, it's Dual Blade Kirito, which is very good because he's the better one of the two. And so it does decent physical damage, and it does high arcane damage to all enemies, and obviously the damage will go up for every star that these two characters share or have. The weapon doesn't really matter. I don't think it really matters what the weapon does, but just to kind of show you that it's got high stats, right? I don't think it's completely upgraded because I need to upgrade this here. I need to upgrade it a bit more still, but it's kind of good stats. I think most people would be, would have kind of weapons at this stat, right? So I've already gone into Void Expedition. I've done like a few just to kind of set it up. So yeah. So this is kind of the team I'm running with. I do suggest putting this Alice in like the middle with Dual Blade Kirito, or you could put her in the front with Dual Blade Kirito. Now keep in mind that she's not completely max level 70, because I don't have enough EXP items. But yeah, if she was a max level 70, she would be doing more damage and she would have higher stats. So do keep that in mind. Actually, let me show you guys what her talent levels are. I think she's at talent level 200. Keep in mind, because she's a support character, she doesn't have an exclusive talent, which is kind of disappointing and why I don't really like support characters that much. But yeah, so 50 Valor, 55 Strength, 50 Aggression, 55 Sagacity. I don't know how you pronounce that. Is it Sagacity or is it Sagacity? I don't know. And I think I've clicked on... Yeah, this game is so laggy. Okay, Void Expedition, right? So let's go into a fight. So what I'm going to do first of all for the first fight, I guess, is real quick. I'll just show her skills because I'm guessing that most of you guys have not seen her skills. If you haven't summoned for her, you most likely won't have those skills. Won't have seen her animations, right? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be quiet and I'm going to show you her animations, and then I'll talk to you about what she can do, how you'll play with her, and just important stuff about her, right? And her damage output. Okay. Enjoy. So, yeah, as you saw, now this is obviously quite an unrealistic kind of like first turn, because we had like 6 climax points or something like that. But for example, there are kind of 2 ways that you can play her, but I'll talk about that once you see this amazing cross skill animation. So yeah, very cool animations. You definitely know that their budget goes towards Sword Art Online things, simply because Sword Art Online makes the most money, right, for them. But anyways, so as I was saying, there are kind of 2 ways that you can use Alice, right? So you can use her as like paired up with a fast character, so like Jewel Blade Kirito, where for example you have someone that does on the very first like start of the turn they do a skill that costs 1, which there are there aren't many of those characters, so it'll have to be kind of like a specific team setup. But for example, let's say this was like a 1. And keep in mind, right now you'd have 1 climax point, and say example, I don't know, this was a 1 as well, so you'd have 2 climax points. Then you'd be able to use this, which would be with 2, but you could still activate it, right? And if you actually activate it, you'd have 3 stacks, and then you'd have 2 of the climax, but it would still do kind of decent damage, right? I mean, just look at that. I mean, if you take, I don't know, like maybe take 40,000 away, 80,000 first turn and AoE is pretty good, right? So that's the kind of first way you can use her. The second way you can use her is you can put her in the kind of like end of the turn, so you can pair her up with a slow character. I'm not exactly sure who, maybe with like Arco. If you pair her up with like not support Arco, the healing and kind of like defensive Arco, then you'd be able to like build up her stacks, and you would be able to absolutely nuke maybe the enemy team on like the 3rd turn, using all your climax points and getting all that extra damage, and also being able to, you know, just do a lot of damage, right? Because her cross skill is in fact good, although it's a 6-point thing, right? So you're not actually going to see it in most fights. Because especially with Jewel Blade Kirito being a fast character, it will have to be like turn 2, and you won't have to use any of your skill points. So what I'm going to do here is I'll just kind of build up very slowly her stacks, so it's kind of going to be a long fight. So maybe I'll just wait until turn 4 or round 4, and I'll try and use up as many skill points as I can without killing all the characters. So I'll be doing like healing and like support stuff, just to kind of build up the climax points that we have, or that I have. And see, build up those stacks right here. She's at 6, now she's going to get to 9 in a minute. There you go, now she's at 9, if we actually go back. Or not. Is it not reset? Guess it hasn't reset yet. Oh no, it's only turn 2, so that makes sense. She gets 3 every turn, right? I can't count. Oh, so it's not actually every start of her turn, it's the start of the turn in general, right? I mean, it doesn't really change anything, but it's kind of a thing to keep in mind, I guess. Little fun fact. So yeah, so I'll wait one more turn. And then I will use her support skill. So I'm not exactly sure how much damage she'd be doing. I'd expect maybe an extra 100k. What's actually annoying though is that the enemy has a damage reduction by 15%. Maybe I'll wait an extra turn and see if the damage reduction goes away. Is that just healing or is that... okay. So I'm going to do it now. They've got healing, but that's fine. So she has 12 stacks, so you can increase that by 8. So roughly about 50%, right? And then she has 28 climax points, which is definitely not a realistic number. You're never going to have 28 climax points. Regardless of what kind of event you're in, you're never going to have this much. Because you're just going to want to use your climax points, you know, to finish the fight as quickly as you can. This is kind of a very unrealistic attack stat that she can have, I guess, or damage output that she can have. So you're going to see, it's weird because it feels like she does less damage when she's doing that. So I'm kind of wondering, right, because as we know, when she has more than 10 stacks, I think she gets crit. But I don't actually know. It's really weird that she's not getting damage. Maybe it's a bug, or maybe it's simply just... I honestly can't explain it. But to me it feels like it might be a bug, where she should be doing a lot more damage than she is. Because just doing it on like turn 1, like in Void Expedition that is, just doing it turn 1 does like 100 and... I don't remember how much it was, maybe 130. And waiting this long with all these climax points and all these stacks, she does half of that, basically. So that's something to keep in mind. I mean, it may be patched out and then may go, sorry guys, there's an error with the character, which does happen quite a lot. There are quite a few errors in skill descriptions and how skills work. It's just Crossing Void. It's kind of a mess, right? It's very laggy. There's quite a lot of glitches. There's quite a lot of errors with characters. But you know, it's kind of stuff you have to live with, and you learn to live with it because Crossing Void is such a cool game. But yeah, just to give you an example, right? So she did like, I don't think. So when she did her sports skill, I don't think it was over 70, right? So this is. Let's show this. So she has 3 climax points with 3 stacks, right? So let's just show this. And she gains an attack buff, actually, so maybe that's why. See, she did like 100, right? So she gets Dragon's Breath when she uses it, which lets her gain a lot more attack. So when you use this, you obviously want to use the support skill, and then after you want to do the cross skill. Just to kind of give you a perspective. Oh no, she lost it, I think. Yeah. So it's a buff that only occurs during the actual attack. It's a really weird thing because you actually look in her description and she nowhere does it say anything about Dragon's Breath, I don't think. So let's finish it off with the cross skill. So you saw I did quite a good amount of damage, 150. Do keep in mind, obviously, if you guys just have better built characters than I do, with higher stats, then obviously your character is going to do a lot more damage. So yeah. Yeah, I'll just do that. I'm not really bothered about these. So yeah. Let me just go back to the character display. Or box, I guess. So yeah. That's Wonderland Alice. That's all she can do. So, question is, should you summon? Should you summon for this Alice? Now, first of all, if Alice is your like favorite character of all time in any kind of fiction, then just summon for her. At the end of the day, these games are pretty much collection games, and you really should just go for what you want and what you like the most, regardless of if they're good or bad, right? Because you'll have more fun with characters that you like more. In terms of her usability, she's very useful. I'd have to say that in terms of all the limited support characters, so there's like support Yu-Gi-Oh, then there's Shiramuku Alice, and I think that's kind of all the support characters, except for the Luna and I don't know what they're called, but the Hatsune Miku's limited support characters. Besides from them, strangely, they're only Sword Art Online characters. But I would definitely have to say that this Alice, is my favourite. I think she is the best limited support character. Maybe Yu-Gi-Oh would be a very close second, and then I would put Shiramuku Alice. But yeah, I do have a Psyche, which basically she just does... when she has 10 stacks, she just does Psyche damage, right? But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. I'm not very sure on how usable she'd be in a PvP environment. I don't really play too much PvP. I play purely PvE. I mean, that's really all I need to do. They give so much free maigo that I can just, you know, get an A variant for one banner and then the S variant for another. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed. What else is on the list? Oh yeah, be sure to give me feedback on how I can improve these videos. And yeah, watch how you go. Thanks for watching.